The sun had barely dipped behind the crooked skyline of Lagos when the narrow wooden walkways of Makoko began to groan under the weight of returning bodies. This is the floating slum, a sprawling forest of stilts and rusting zinc roofs perched over the black, oily waters of the Lagos Lagoon. The air is thick with the stench of decaying fish, raw sewage, and burning firewood mixed with cheap kerosene. Children with swollen bellies run barefoot across slippery planks, dodging leaking roofs. Fishermen haul in empty nets after another hopeless day. Women balance trays of roasted plantain and smoked fish on their heads, shouting prices while avoiding touts and patrol boats. In the middle of this chaos stood Mama Ngozi's shack, a modest wooden home patched with tarpaulin, raised just high enough so the tide wouldn't swallow it every rainy season. Every Sunday evening, as generators coughed to life across the ghetto, Mama Ngozi's home quietly became a sanctuary. 30 souls squeezed inside, tired mothers cradling infants, young men with hardened eyes from years of failed hustles, elderly widows who had buried too many children, and even a few Muslims and traditional worshippers who just needed to belong. No grand pulpit, no shiny microphones, just a faded blue mat on the uneven floor, one kerosene lantern casting long shadows, and an old dog-eared Bible passed hand to hand. A small wooden cross leaned against the wall, half hidden behind a sack of gurry. They sang in low, careful voices, Amazing Grace blending with Aya Nawara and soft Islamic phrases of peace. Never loud enough to attract the police or the area boys demanding protection money, but just loud enough to drown out the hunger and despair outside. At the center stood Mama Ngozi, a sturdy widow in her late 40s, hands calloused from years of roasting plantain by the roadside. Sweat glistened on her forehead as she spoke with quiet fire. Brothers and sisters, God never left the ghetto. We are the ones who sometimes forget He is here. When the net comes back empty, when the landlord threatens to throw us into the water, when another child coughs blood from the bad air, that is when we must remember, our strength is not in the money we don't have. It is in the hope we refuse to kill. Her 15-year-old son, Chinedu, moved silently among them. Tall for his age, he arranged seats, helped the elderly, and read verses when his mother's voice tired. He dreamed of becoming an engineer, of building real bridges instead of walking on rotting planks. And every night he saw boys his age joining cults or Yahoo scams because God no day pay bills. This small gathering gave him something different. Men encouraged to provide. Women reminded of their value. Children taught that stealing from a neighbor only makes the whole community poorer. Here, faith wasn't fancy sermons or private jets. It was survival infrastructure. But a foul wind of change was blowing. The new local government chairman, Chief Okoro, a big-bellied man who arrived in shiny SUVs, had launched his Clean City campaign. Billboards screamed, "No more backwardness, no more noise pollution, focus on skills, not superstition." In his speeches, he declared, religion is the reason the ghetto remains poor. These people spend all their time praying instead of working. We will ban unregistered worship places, stop the noise, and arrest anyone disturbing public peace with backward beliefs. The gods must leave the ghetto so progress can enter. His task force had already demolished 2 small mosques and padlocked a Pentecostal church down the waterway. Rumors spread that officers were taking names of troublemaking pastors. That Sunday evening, they had just finished a soft rendition of It Is Well With My Soul when heavy boots thudded on the walkway outside. The flimsy door burst open with a violent kick. 2 uniformed policemen stormed in, batons swinging. Behind them stood one of Chief Okoro's aides in a crisp white shirt. "This gathering is illegal," the officer barked. "No permit, no registration. You are spreading backward beliefs in a place we are trying to develop." Panic rippled through the room. A mother clutched her baby tighter. An old man dropped his walking stick. Chinedu stepped forward, but Mama Ngozi held him back with a firm hand on his chest. The policeman snatched the old Bible, kicked over plastic stools, and ripped the small wooden cross from the wall. The kerosene lantern wobbled dangerously, nearly setting the shack ablaze. Mama Ngozi stood straight, her voice steady even as tears welled in her eyes. "Officer, we are not disturbing anyone. We are only trying to hold body and soul together. This is all some of us have left." The aides sneered. "Tell that to the chairman." Religion is the opium keeping you people in this filth. Pack everything. This place is closed.
Officer,
No
we are
more
not
gods in the
disturbing
ghetto.
anyone.
As they dragged
We
away
are
the
only
mat and the
trying to
lantern,
hold
the
body
small
and soul
congregation
together.
stood in
This is all
stunned
some of us
silence. Chinadu stared at the empty spot where the Bible had been. His fists clenched so tight his knuckles turned white. For the first time, he wondered if his mother had been wrong all along. In the floating slum of Makoko, faith wasn't a luxury. It was the only thing holding people together. But when the powerful decide the gods must leave the ghetto, what remains? Chapter 2. Coming soon. Like, share, and subscribe.